Hello and welcome to this training video for our Parish website content management system. So we at Holdsworth Design develop a lot of Parish websites, and they're primarily built upon a similar architecture, whether that be the design or the content or the content management system itself. So this video and this training series are meant to serve as a backdrop for anybody who's doing content management system on a Parish website that we've built. Now, your Parish website might have some unique features and maybe a unique template and some unique content. And therefore, we will have provided a training video that is specific to that. But for the general topics that are common between all of those websites, that's what this video series is for. And this video is the introduction video, where I go through and explain just what the concepts are and give you a brief overview of what you'll be doing and managing through the content management system. So this is the view that we're seeing right now here, which is our demo Parish website. Now, obviously, your site might look a little bit different and might have some custom colors or maybe even a custom template. And obviously, the content is going to be set up differently. However, there are a lot of common features, and the workflow of the content management system is generally the same. And so that's how this series of videos will serve you. So I'm going to start by explaining just content management in general and what that means, what that allows you to do, and what that doesn't quite allow you to do in the scope of managing a website. So as the name implies, content management means that you're going to be editing. That means adding, editing, and deleting content on the website. It doesn't mean that you can set up new functionality or new features. It doesn't mean that you can manage the look and feel of the website. At least to a certain degree, you can't. So when it comes to the aesthetics of the website and the style of the user interface. So if we're looking at this demo right here, so this whole template and the colors that we see, the textures, if there are textures, the styles of the buttons and the typography and the font and the colors of the backgrounds and things like that, these are all defined by the template. And if you want those to have some variation to them, then you're going to need to pick a different template or get your template customized. And this also defines to some degree the layout of the website. But when it comes to the content, so that includes things like the text in featured areas like this, what buttons get included in a row like this, the actual text-based and photo-based content that might appear in the main content column, as well as what kinds of information might appear in module positions like this. Those things are up to you. Where they appear, how they get laid out, and how they flow from one to the next, that is up to you. And that does define look and feel to some degree. But generally, the aesthetics of the site, that's controlled by the template. And you need to be able to code HTML and develop something like that in order to manage that. So you're going to be focusing on piecing the pages together, what goes on those pages, and what it says, and really strictly speaking, the content of those pages. Now, content itself is managed through it's managed in three different ways. And I'm going to just quickly explain what those are. And if it doesn't make complete sense to you at this point, don't get discouraged by that, because as we go through and explain what the exact workflow is in managing each of these aspects of content, it will start to make more sense. But for the sake of giving you a quick overview at this point, I'm just going to explain what those are fairly quickly. So the first and probably the most common type of content is what's called articles. And articles are you can think of it as like a news article or the bulk of content that might appear on a page. So if we were to go to something like, let's go to Our Parish. In the template of the website, the article content generally appears in a large format column like this. And what you see selected here, this is the article itself. Now, obviously, from one template to the next, there's going to be some variation, but whenever you see kind of this main middle large frame column wherever large amounts of content are appearing on certain pages, that's the article area of the template and of the website. And at the very least, it contains a title, which is the title of the page, and then also the actual content itself, which will include things like text. In this case, it includes an image, and the image can be laid out in different ways, and the content can be laid out in different ways. Obviously, there's formatting, some bold text here, and it could include links, and then things like featured text, like we're seeing in this this block quote right here. So you can add articles to certain pages, like say if there's a news page, like this guy, the What's New page. So each of these guys here is a separate article that's been added to this page. So that's one article, and then that's another article, and then that's another article. And then if you were to click read more, you'd see the whole article. So that's how it would appear on some pages, and then other pages it might just be like on our Parish, a single article that appears on one page. So you can add articles to a page like the news page, or you can edit articles on pages like this. Now, the next kind of content that appears on the website is what's called modules. And if you are familiar with, say, WordPress, a similar language would be widgets, and that's also fairly common on cell phones and even some operating systems. But they're sort of small pieces of information or functionality that are displayed in a modular way. That's where they get the word module from. So usually the home page is where we see the best example of modules. So we've already mentioned that this area is where we see articles. There, what you see selected there. But underneath that, we've got a module here. That's a single module. This is the What's New module, where it just displays a list of articles that have been added to the news category. This is the same module, but just in another position, just to demo the different positions. And there it is again. This main menu right here, this is a menu module. So it just displays the menu items of the website. And it's also up here showing the same menu options, but just in a different position, and then the template shows it in a different way. There's another position that isn't being used right now, which is actually just to the right of the logo, if you would prefer to have your menu up there, just depending on which layout you prefer and how much space you need to accommodate for your menus. The social media icons up here, that's a module. The logo placement here, that's a module. This feature header text, that's a module. Each of these buttons are a module. So the thing to notice is that modules, depending on the kind of module it is, it can have different kinds of functionality. So these button modules are meant to be just a button, and that they will accept certain kinds of parameters that you can edit based on that functionality. This social media module, it will accept a different kind of parameters based on its specific functionality to display social media icons. And then the same with the menu module that is displayed here. So as we go through and explain the process for editing modules, I will be explaining how each of these modules are different and the kinds of modules that you will typically be managing and adding in the Parish system that we've designed for you. And the last kind of content, or the last piece of the content management process, is the menu items themselves. So this is the navigation, these navigation links and buttons. And they are managed through what's called the menu manager. And the way that workflow, and again, I'll explain this more explicitly in the process when I provide the training video for menu management. But in the process of managing content, if you wanted to create a new page on the website, say like a contact page that isn't appearing up here in the menu, you would first create a new article of content and fill the content in, and then you would add a menu item so that it actually appears in the menu, and then you would connect that menu item to the new article of content that you've created. So that's the basic overview of the Parish content management system. In the next successive videos, I'll explain the actual process for managing those different pieces.